The Galactic Council had existed for 12,000 years, a sprawling bureaucracy of 473 species, each more ancient and supposedly wiser than the last. Humanity, barely 2 centuries into interstellar travel, was the newest member and, widely considered, the most unpredictable. Tiberius Chen hadn't planned on becoming part of galactic history. He was simply an administrative assistant at the Earth Embassy on Station Kepler 442, processing visa applications and scheduling meetings. But when Ambassador Velkoth of the Zenthari Collective collapsed during a crucial trade negotiation, clutching his crystalline respiratory organ, Tiberius found himself thrust into an impossible situation. "The human will substitute," Velkoth wheezed, his translator struggling with his labored breathing. "No time. The consortium representatives... waiting." "Sir, I'm not qualified," Tiberius began. But the ambassador's 3 eyes fixed on him with surprising intensity. "You are human. That will suffice." 20 minutes later, Tiberius sat in a conference chamber designed for beings twice his size, facing representatives from 5 different species. To his left sat Edna Martinez, a xenolinguistic specialist who'd been pulled from her lab to help translate the more nuanced aspects of the negotiation. "This is insane," Edna whispered, her dark eyes scanning the room nervously. "Do you even know what this negotiation is about?" "Trade routes through the Sagittarius Arm," Tiberius replied, straightening his hastily donned formal jacket. "Resource sharing agreements. Standard stuff. Standard." The lead consortium representative, a being that resembled a floating jellyfish of pure energy named Quista, pulsed with what the translator interpreted as amusement. Ambassador Velkoth spent 3 cycles preparing for this negotiation. "You believe you can simply improvise?" The other representatives leaned forward, or their species equivalent thereof. The Kathrani military advisor's scales rattled. The Yulma economist's petals closed defensively. They were watching, waiting for the human to fail. Tiberius felt Edna's hand briefly touch his arm, or gesture of support. He took a breath and made a decision that went against every diplomatic protocol he'd ever read about. "You're right," he said. "I have no idea what I'm doing." The room fell silent. Even the perpetual hum of the station's life support seemed to pause. "But here's what I do know," Tiberius continued, pulling up the holographic display. "You're here because the current trade routes add 17 days to shipping times. 17 days that cost all of you." He gestured to each representative. "Approximately 2.3 million credits per vessel." Ambassador Velkoth spent 3 months calculating compromises that would benefit everyone equally, making incremental adjustments to satisfy each species' specific needs. He swiped the display away. "I'm going to do something different. I'm going to ask, what do you actually want?" Edna's eyes widened, but she didn't interrupt. Tiberius noticed her fingers moving subtly. She was recording everything on her neural implant, probably for the academic paper she'd write about this diplomatic disaster. Quista pulsed uncertainly. "We have already submitted our requirements." "No, not your official position. What do you want?" Tiberius looked at each representative in turn. "The Zenthari taught us a lot about patience and procedure. But humans, we're good at cutting through complexity when time is short. So humor me." The Kathroni advisor spoke first, her translator rendering her growls into standard speech. "Safe passage. Our merchant vessels are vulnerable in the current routes." "Pirate speed," added the Yulmar economist. "Our cargo has limited viability. One by one, they spoke. Not the rehearsed diplomatic positions, but genuine needs. The energy beings needed specific radiation frequencies along the route. The silicon-based Morthok needed temperature-controlled WAYPOINTS. Edna, catching on to Tiberius's strategy, began pulling up data. If we overlay these requirements, she said, her expertise taking over, there's actually minimal conflict. The radiation frequencies the consortium needs don't affect Morthok temperature zones. The security patrol schedules that help Cathroni merchants would also protect Yulma shipments. Tiberius nodded. The problem wasn't that your needs conflict. The problem was that everyone was negotiating like they did. Ambassador Velkoth was trying to balance opposing forces, but they were never actually opposing. He reconfigured the route map in real time, color-coding each species' requirements. Where Velkoth had spent months on carefully worded compromises, Tiberius simply showed them the truth. Their interests aligned far more than anyone had realized. This is highly irregular, Quista pulsed. But there was less certainty in the statement now. It's human, Edna interjected, a slight smile playing at her lips. We're good at finding the simple solution everyone else is too sophisticated to see. The Cathrani advisor's scales rattled laughter. Tiberius had learned. The human makes a compelling point. Perhaps we have been ... overcomplicating. 4 hours later, they had an agreement. Not the one Velkoth had prepared, but something simpler and, surprisingly, more effective. The representatives departed with an efficiency that shocked the station's diplomatic corps. Tiberius and Edna sat alone in the conference chamber, exhausted. Ambassador Velkoth is going to kill us, Edna said. But she was grinning. Or promote us, Tiberius replied. His communicator chimed a message from the medical bay. Velkoth was recovering and demanding to know what had happened. When they arrived at the medical bay, they found the Zenthari ambassador propped up on supports, his crystalline respiratory system glowing with renewed health. He listened to their report in silence, his 3 eyes unblinking. Finally, he spoke. You disregarded my entire negotiation framework. Yes, sir, Tiberius admitted. You ignored 3,000 years of Zenthari diplomatic tradition. Yes, sir, you achieved in 4 hours what I had projected would take 6 days of careful deliberation. Tiberius and Edna exchanged glances. Velkoth's translator carried what might have been a sigh. Humans, you are either brilliantly efficient or dangerously reckless, and I have not yet determined which. Perhaps, Edna suggested carefully, we're both. The ambassador's respiratory crystals chimes in Thuri laughter. Then the galaxy had better adapt quickly. You have done well, both of you. The Council will be interested to study your methods. As they left the medical bay, Tiberius felt the weight of what had happened settling in. They hadn't just completed a negotiation, they demonstrated something that made the elder species uncomfortable. Humanity's talent for cutting through millennia of accumulated complexity and finding the simple truth underneath. Same time tomorrow, Edna asked with a smirk. Tiberius laughed. Let's hope not. I don't think the galaxy is ready for that. But as they walked through the station's corridors, past beings from dozens of species who would soon hear about what the humans had done, Tiberius suspected that, ready or not, the galaxy was about to get a lot more interesting. After all, that's what humans did best.